I had a conversation earlier today on the phone with somebody up in New Jersey. Great conversation. And I really feel for this guy at 380 pounds plus and 5'9" tall. And has struggled with his weight his whole life, and he said some really good things, and I really feel like his head is in the right spot to start this. I won't tell you his name. He's going to come on the podcast and tell us his story. And it's a great story, having gone from 400 pounds to 225 pounds, if I remember right, and then back up to almost 400 pounds again. And we're going to hear his story, and he's going to start, or has just started, his journey to try to get his health back on the carnivore diet. Here's the thing. He also drinks coffee. And in the context of drinking coffee, we talked about how when you are changing your mindset, when you are getting rid of habits and you are trying to grow good habits, especially in this category of diet and exercise and health, it's important to understand the enormity of what you're up against. You cannot change this overnight. You got to remember what you're eating or what you're metabolizing today is probably something that if you've gotten into the fat that you're carrying on your body, you ate a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? Meaning that garbage that you had as a kid, you still carry with you. You carry with you emotionally, you carry it with you physically, and you have to understand that you're not going to undo that mental, physical, and emotional attachment overnight. It's very hard to do. And so that's why I would always advise people that if you're going to do it, that's great and you need to. But for something like coffee is awfully benign. You don't need to come off of coffee on the carnivore diet necessarily, but you do need to come off of coffee for the reason that so many people drink coffee is they're addicted to it. And if you're trying to change who you are, you can't make wholesale changes on single items and hope that these things that you have been doing for 30 and 40 years and you are going to continue to do are somehow not going to suck you back in. So what I would recommend, particularly if you're a coffee drinker and this is you at 300, 400 pounds, is get on your diet and keep drinking your coffee and then slowly back off of it. I've talked about this before. Maybe tell yourself 6 weeks out, instead of 4 cups a day, I'm going to cut to 2. And then 6 weeks out from that, I'm going to cut that 2 down to none. The reality is you don't need any. You don't need the sugar, or you don't need the caffeine. You don't need the energy, because of what you eat is why you need the energy. But understanding that those things that you have been doing for 40 years are not going to go away quickly. And they are going to put up a fight. They are programmed into you. This is why it is so difficult, on top of the fact that the food is so good and the sweets taste so sweet and those Oreos just melt in your mouth and they're so good with a big glass of milk, and some of those other chocolate cookies and all of that kind of stuff is so good, and it's meant to tantalize us and tease us and pull us in and make us eat it. It absolutely is designed and it is made to do that to you, to make you respond to it the way that it does, on top of the fact that genetically from the day you were born, you were probably fed things that you should not have been eating. And decade after decade after decade of eating that food, that habit that you have and that lifestyle that you have and that metabolism that you built, and the one that has built you into a 400-pound person, does not simply just disappear. It does not just go away because you want it to go away at 40 years old or 30 years old or 20 years old or 50 years old. However old you might be, it's not going to disappear. You have to fight it. You have to slay it. And you've got to be realistic about what you can do. So many people tell me what they're going to do. Very few of them ever do. But I want you to be successful. I want you to have the same thing that I have. And the way that I got it was being open, honest, upfront about what I wasn't good at and what was killing me, and try to beat each one of those things over the head. For me, it was cold turkey start January 1 of last year, and I got my life back. But that may not be necessarily for you, but that doesn't mean that you can continue on other habits and try to change significant lifestyles and make significant lifestyle changes. I just see too many people that fall back after a short period of time trying to do exactly just that. Opportunities are everywhere. You got to go get them. Start by going for a walk.